brothers and sisters who have joined this call from around the world. On behalf of the entire Annapoorna team, loving Sairams, we apologize first for the little bit of delay in getting started because of some technical problems. So at the outset, I wish you a very warm welcome to the very first webinar on Annapoorna. And I would like to introduce myself. My name is Girish Suryanarayana, and I work as a principal key expert at Siemens Research. And I have been associated with Annapoorna for the last 8 years. And I will be your host for today. We will start today by first providing a background of what Annapoorna is, its vision, and its journey so far. Through a slide presentation, we will delve into the various initiatives of Annapoorna that are focused towards rural uplift. This presentation will include a short segment on the COVID-19 initiatives. We are also excited to share that towards the second part of today's session, we will have a presentation by Sri Anand Kadali, co-founder and secretary of the Sri Sathya Sai Annapoorna Trust, which is managing the various Annapoorna initiatives. And finally, at the end, we will be having a short Q&A session. So we encourage you to post your questions in the Facebook chat. So without further ado, let's get started. We will start with a short video on Annapoorna.
India is the second most populated country in the world with nearly a fifth of the world's population. The 2018 Global Hunger Index report ranked India 103rd out of 119 countries with a serious issue of child wasting. India has about 250 million school-going children. Of these, close to 160 million go to government and government-aided schools. If nutrition intervention can be conducted at the school level itself, it can help improve the health as well as school attendance of children. While the government is implementing several schemes and programs under the umbrella Integrated Child Development Services schemes such as Anganwadi Services Scheme and Poshan Abhiyan, the Annapoorna Breakfast Program is the manifestation of one such citizens' initiative. It started as a small initiative by a handful of inspired individuals to feed healthful breakfast to 50 school children in July 2012 in a village near Bengaluru. But in 7 years, it has grown into a nutrition movement which feeds lakhs of children every morning across the nation. With support coming from individuals, corporates, working professionals and businessmen, Annapoorna has grown into People's Revolution Program, Jan Andolan. Freshly prepared breakfasts at the school premises, milk, bananas and snacks are served to children every morning across thousands of government and rural schools. And while it is such a simple concept, we have been a fortunate witness to the transformative power of the ubiquitous breakfast. Higher attendance, lower dropout rates, improved health parameters, marked increase in academic performance and attentiveness, and the list goes on. Volunteers work together and come up with nifty solutions to meet the children's nutrition, health, water, and sanitation needs. On seeing how children were undernourished in the health screening camps conducted by our volunteer doctors and ASHA workers, a micronutrient health mix, Sai Sure, was added to our breakfast menu. Formulated by our team of experts and nutritionists, Sai Sure is a simple and novel way to address the hidden hunger in children. After a successful pilot, Sai Sure was introduced to over 1 lakh children from October 2018 in Chikkabalapur district after seeking the relevant government approvals. To ensure we can reach this health mix to children in states with no existing milk schemes, Sai Sure's nutrition experts have formulated a variant with milk powder in it. The mix now only needs to be mixed in hot water before consumption. Sai Sure variants are also available for toddlers as well as pregnant and lactating mothers.
In the 7 years since we started, we have served more than 50 million meals to over 400,000 children across 17 Indian states and 3 union territories. Of the 400,000 children that receive breakfast every morning, 100,000 receive freshly cooked breakfast, while the other 300,000 get the micronutrient mix Sai Sure.
We wish to reach 5 lakh children in the coming year. Annapoorna already has forged MOUs with Karnataka, Puducherry, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and Kerala state governments in this regard and more are in the offing. Talks are ongoing with the state governments of Haryana, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand to roll out pilot programs. Breakfast programs have been initiated in countries such as Nigeria, Australia, Sri Lanka, Indonesia and Thailand as well. Providing breakfast may be a simple concept, but it has a far-reaching impact. The most gratifying impact of the breakfast initiative has been the transformation it kindled in these children. Setting a child on a proper course with good daily nutrition and the ability to attend and succeed in school is our collective social responsibility and one which will go a long way in nation building. Our dream is to build a nation where no child goes to school hungry ever. We are here until then.
So after that wonderful video, we would like to take you through a slide presentation of Annapurna, its vision and its journey so far. Before we start talking about Annapurna, we would like to offer our loving obeisance to our master, Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, who preached love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never. Truly, the core members of Annapurna have been inspired by the life and times of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, who preached and practiced the principle of selfless service driven by unconditional love. Bhagwan exemplified his teachings by living his life totally dedicated to the service of humanity, by building hospitals, educational institutions to provide completely free medical care and education to all of mankind, irrespective of nationality, socio-economic status, or religion. And after shedding his mortal coil in 2011 to continue his unfinished mission of awakening the divinity latent in all of mankind, he remanifested in the subtle form at Sathya Sai Grama Muddinahalli in Karnataka, which is about 40 minutes north of the Bengaluru International Airport. Today, the mission of Bhagwan is growing at an accelerated pace so that his message of compassion, love, and service reaches every nook and corner of this world. We also offer our humble prostrations to our Guru, Sadhguru Madhusudan Sai, who is also the founder and guide of Annapurna. A university gold medalist from the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Prashanti Nilayam, Puttaparthi, Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai was blessed to spend a number of years in the divine presence of his master, Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. After Baba shed his mortal coil in 2011 and remanifested himself in the subtle form at Sathya Sai Grama Muddinahalli to continue his unfinished mission of awakening the divinity latent in all of mankind, he initially used Sri Madhusudan Sai as his communicator and later chose his body as his vehicle for furthering his divine mission. Sadhguru Madhusudan Sai is an epitome and testimony of service, surrender, faith, and transformation. Under his able guidance, 3 super specialty pediatric cardiac care hospitals in India, 24 values-based educational institutions across the states of Karnataka, Telangana, and Tamil Nadu, many nutrition programs, and many ashrams and several healthcare centers across the world have been established. As we start with the Annapurna story, it's very important to understand why Annapurna focuses on morning nutrition program at government schools. Just to give you some statistics, India is home to about 131 million children, and they are attending 1.1 million government schools. And about 55% of these children, this is roughly about 72 million children, are underweight. And 25% of these children, which is approximately 33 million children, are extremely thin and have stunted growth. This hinders their physical and mental development, leading to poor health, poor school attendance and performance, a high risk of disease, and reduced earnings in the future. The key cause is economic inequality. Many children hail from poor and displaced tribal families that have a hand-to-mouth existence and don't get proper nutrition. And those state governments have introduced wonderful schemes such as midday meal schemes and milk schemes in the morning to address this problem. A lot still needs to be done. Since an empty stomach enables maximum absorption of key nutrients, breakfast is considered as the most important meal of the day by the World Health Organization. Children who regularly have breakfast have higher intelligence quotient, better cognitive skills, and higher chances of completing school. India also ranks a very poor 102 out of 119 countries in the Global Hunger Index report of 2019. So something needs to be drastically done. So with this intention, The Annapurna Morning Nutrition Program was conceptualized. It had a very humble beginning in 2012 in the form of serving hot breakfast to 50 school-going children in a village outside of Bangalore. But quickly over the years has expanded to about 10,000 students across 120 schools. And as the program expanded and more volunteers joined, a need was felt to create a trust. This led to the formation of the Sri Sathya Sai Annapoorna Trust with the vision that no child should go to school hungry ever. And its objectives included not only nutrition, but spanned across health, education, water, and sanitation. And since the trust was formed over the last 5 years, the morning nutrition program has expanded to 5 lakh children today across 6,000 schools spread over 17 states and 3 union territories. And in this mission, over 500 volunteers and 5,000 support staff, that is headmasters, teachers, and cooks at government schools, have wholeheartedly supported this mission. And this map gives you a very quick overview of the spread of Annapurna. Though we started in Karnataka and expanded to southern states, we are now looking to expand in the east and north India. And hopefully very soon we would have covered the entire country in a few years' time. Our operational model is that we only provide ingredients, and we can thus we intend to leverage existing school infrastructure provided by the government, such as the kitchens, cooking equipment, and the cooks that are employed by the government. This allows us to scale our operations very rapidly and embrace more and more children. So to talk about our decentralized models, Annapurna has 3 decentralized models of nutrition. So I'll explain each of these models now in the following slides. So model 1 is the cooked breakfast model, where we provide provisions to the cooks in the schools, and we leverage government support in the form of access to school kitchens and cooks to enable children to get a hot meal before the classes start. And this model has been implemented in Karnataka. Another version of this model is in Andhra Pradesh, where the government is supporting even further by providing part of the provisions, specifically rice and all. Moving to the next model, which is model 2, in schools that don't have kitchen facilities, for instance, in the Union Territory of Puducherry, Annapurna is providing cookies, banana and milk, and the government is supporting by providing the transport infrastructure. In model 3, with respect to model 3, as I mentioned earlier, one of the critical problems facing our country is the silent hunger or malnutrition. And to manage the problem of severe acute malnutrition, that is SAM, and moderate acute malnutrition, MAM, on a large scale, effectively and efficiently, Annapurna has come up with a nutrient mix called SciSure that can be mixed with either hot milk or hot water. And the beauty of this is that since many governments are already providing milk, SciSure can be mixed readily and offered to children. And as you can see from the picture, the children love the taste of SciSure mixed with the milk, because otherwise previously the milk was just being offered very plain, in a plain format with them. And the key magic that I want to emphasize here is that with just 10 grams of SciSure per day, a child's health can be significantly enhanced. So realizing its value and ease of delivery and consumption, Annapurna has in fact created multiple versions of SciSure, one for pregnant and lactating women, one for toddlers, and one for school children. And here we see our Honorable Chief Minister, Sri B.S. Yediyurappa, launching SciSure. And he's joined on stage with Sri Suresh Kumar, Minister of State for Primary and Secondary Education, and Sakala of Karnataka. Many governments have been attracted to this idea, and this has led to many MOUs with state governments. You can see all these states that we have an MOU with, and many more are in the pipeline and will happen in the future. Truly, Annapurna couldn't have done this all alone. Along the way, there have been many people and organizations who have joined us. Already, I showed you state governments have supported us. But specifically, I would like to call out more than 55 corporate partners who contribute in different ways to Annapurna, like either by providing their employees as volunteers, or providing products, monetary support, or endorse us in prestigious places so that the awareness of Annapurna's work spreads to more people. Talking about the impact of Annapurna, the real impact of Annapurna is that it has become a people's movement with so many people from different walks of life and from across different organizations joining us. It has become a Jan Andolan. While it has definitely improved children's health significantly, improved their attendance and their academic performance, it has also achieved a broader social impact. A social audit done gave Annapurna a very commendable score of 1.89, which shows a return on every rupee. So for every rupee that Annapurna invests, the return on investment is 1.89 rupees. And finally, also with respect to SciSure, we've seen a significant improvement of 6.1% in a pilot study in the hemoglobin levels of school children who took SciSure for 3 months. We've also learned that children prefer milk with flavor over just plain milk. Finally, last but not the least, Annapurna has been very busy in the last few months with COVID-19 relief work. More than 40,000 families across India have received grocery kits worth rupees 500 each. And these beneficiaries primarily include poor families of government school children served by Annapurna and government school cooks. With that, I come to the end of the presentation. And here's a short video on our COVID-19 relief work. Okay, so thank you for that video. It gives me great pleasure to welcome our speaker for today, Sri Anand Kadali, who is the co-founder and secretary of the Sri Sathya Sai Annapoorna Trust. As secretary of the Sri Sathya Sai Annapoorna Trust, Anand oversees the growth and expansion of the morning nutrition program. And Anand has spent over 15 years in the corporate world before leaving it to pursue his life's passion of community service on a full-time basis. He previously worked in global organizations, including HP, HCL, and Dimension Data in the field of computer networking and security. He's also a certified independent director. Anand holds a bachelor's degree in engineering from Geetham in Vizag and an MBA from ICFAI University, Hyderabad. He lives with his wife and his two young school-going children at Mudanhalli, Annapurna's headquarters, which is located close to the Bangalore airport. Anand, welcome, and we are very happy to have you in our midst today. I have known you for over a decade now, and having been a part of your Annapurna journey over the years, I know it has been an enthralling journey. And I'm sure our viewers would enjoy listening to your experiences today especially about how it all started, how it expanded in the initial years, how it gathered steam, and, and finally, what keeps you motivated day and night. So, over to you, Anand.
Thank you, Girish. Firstly, am I audible to all of you? I mean, just to check once.
Yes, Anand.
Thank you, Girish, and very nice to be a part of this large gathering on Facebook. I know we are doing this for the first time, and hats off to the technical team behind getting this uh, very important Facebook first session, which we are having over here. And it's an honor to also, kind of share my thoughts about the whole breakfast program. But before that, I think Mr. Girish has given a brief about the whole mission and the projects which are going on. And ultimately, it is for our own self transformation, whatever work is happening outside. But again, there has been always a bit of background to every activity which happens in Annapurna or any other project. And it so happened that I met Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai in the year 2009 when I was working for an IT company, and he was working for a private banking firm. And I mean, as destiny would say, I got connected to him for various cultural programs in Puttaparthi. And somewhere all down the lane, we got an opportunity to kind of present a drama where he was a director for the drama, and he gave the opportunity to give the letters of all the actors of that particular drama. And that's the picture which I have, which I cherish for my complete lifetime with Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Uh, I mean, I'm not sure what happened in that whole incident where he looked at me and I looked at him, and some magic, something would have happened. And later on, it did not stop over there. I continued being in touch with Sadhguru Madhusudan Sai, and he initiated us to get into some good projects, and he was initiating us to kind of also understand much more about Swami with all the guidance which Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba was giving to him during those times. And he became the inspiration for all of us to take up this good work. And it so happened in April 2012, he initiated this discussion with us to start a very small breakfast program during those times, that serving children will be a better way to start the day, and it will give a great joy for us before we begin the day. And it so happened that we started in a very small way on July 5th, 2012. Thankfully, we had very good like-minded people who understood the concept of providing morning breakfast, because this was never heard of. We always speak about Sunday Narayan Seva, we speak about the dinner Seva, or we do that weekly Grama Seva. But something like this where you have to do on a daily basis, and that too in a remote village, providing the morning nutrition to children whom you are not aware. And this is something very unique. And we thought of trying to find out how we can do this in a larger way later on. But again, as things stand by, we wanted to start small. And with all the support from the volunteers, teachers, and support staff, we took this activity. You could see the pictures on the right side. These are the pictures of the first breakfast program, which happened on July 5th, 2012. And this is how we initiated the program. And from then, it has been a much more different, a roller coaster drive for us. So the next slide actually speaks about how it actually started in this village called Dodebale. Now, this is a village which is off Mysore Road, Mysore Highway Road. And we identified this village. It's about 15 kilometers away from most of us stay from. We all work for corporate companies, but still, it's about 15 kilometers away. We had to drive down all the way to get to this village. You can see the pictures of the children who come from the slum areas, the kind of water they drink, and the thatched houses over there. But anyways, when we started this program, you could see that we just ended up doing it in an open area. There is no room for us. There is no community hall. There is no any specific room given to us. We just openly went with an idea to serve the children. And I would say, all through this journey, it was exciting to know that the children enjoyed being a part of this whole program. And more than that, we enjoyed being a part of this program and relished the whole happiness when we went back to our office for professional work. Now, here are certain logistics which we planned, the kind of plates we were supposed to get on that particular day. kind of menu which has been planned, and how organically, we grew, getting more and more children getting into the purview of breakfast program. Then we also took attendance of the children just to ensure that they're coming every day and they're liking the food which has been provided. And I would say these children would wait for us even before we turn out every day morning 7 o'clock. Then, I mean, once we started doing the breakfast program, naturally the things have fallen in place. Parents have started showing, confidence on what we are trying to do, and they, kind of also got participated in the health screening activities. We did dental screening for the children, and it went on, for a couple of years. We were doing all the best which we can do for this village. We also were looking at trying to conduct certain human values classes, and you can see the picture over here. This was way back in 2012. We never had any place to do even a Balvika session, and we had to do it in an open area, with a scorching sun in the morning at about 8 o'clock. But still, children, just came up to listen to the values-based classes, just to ensure that they don't get into any bad habits, because they are vulnerable to getting into any sort of bad habits, being the kind of situation they are and the kind of location they are in. But again, this is how we started. Again, every step, whatever we did, it was under complete guidance of Sadhguru Madhusudan Sai. It all started with breakfast, and then we had the nutrition activity as a part of it, then the health screening, then the Bal Vikas classes. And here is one picture of the outcome of what we did. The children who got participated or who participated in this breakfast program, they helped us in constructing toilets in their own village. So much transformation has happened in the children, and they helped us constructing toilets for about 15 families, and then also giving this dustbins, just to ensure that there is a hygiene upkeep in the village. So all these things started slowly picking up in this village, making it towards an Adarsha Grama, I would say. Eventually we ended up working on coming out with a community center over here. And with all the due support coming from the village panchayat, we found a land, and they gave us this land. We came up with a community center, and in 2014, we started in October, and in about 45 days time, we got this community center built. Through this community center, now we are conducting all our daily morning nutrition program, health screening, all the yoga classes and the Balvikas classes. Everything, now is happening in this village since last 6 years. But the core important thing is this was like a practice for all of us, and it actually helped us get into the next phase, where we started the breakfast program in a second village called Vinayak Nagar. Now, this village is about another 10 kilometers away from the current Dodibale village, so which is overall another 25 kilometers away from where we stayed. But even then, we formed a roster, and we ensured that we conduct the breakfast program in this village as well. And slowly, as we see, the confidence was building on us that yes, definitely we can do this program. And eventually, we had about close to 30 volunteers by the end of 2013 and 2014. And they started doing this breakfast program at various other locations. Bangalore, if people who are there in this call who are Bangaloreans, they know the locations: C.V. Ramanagar, KR Road, Koskaralli, JP Nagar, Whitefield, Martha Halli, Banaswadi, Electronic City, and Nagarbavi. It just spread, it was spreading its wings, and, people started initiating the breakfast program at their places. They started simply with milk and banana, or could be a simple biscuits, which they were giving to the children in the schools. Like that, they started off, and it need not be every day. At least start with twice or thrice in a week, and slowly, once you have more bandwidth, more people joining, they started doing it daily. So there is definitely something divine which was running behind this whole program. And then, by the time we ended up in the year 2015, we were about 50 volunteers, and we thought, this is the time, or in fact, under due guidance of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba and Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, we actually formed this Sri Sathya Sai Annapoorna Trust. And this was formed in the year 2015 November. And the first thing which we wanted to do is to take up about 90 schools in Chikbalapur Taluk, which is where we have our headquarters. And with the due permission coming from the governments, we started with a simple banana and milk. The person who was hosting this program, Mr. Girish, is also one of the core volunteer during that time. He was handling about 14 schools in a particular cluster. Likewise, we segregated ourselves, and we had a wonderful time doing this whole exercise of trying to identify schools and go and start with this simple milk and banana. Absolute support from all the teachers, cooks, and the HMs, including the government officials at the top, which made us, boost our confidence to make it happen in a larger way in the coming times. So at that time, we closed at about 10,000 school children by the end of the year, and we touched about 120 schools. So I think the journey doesn't stop over there. We have definitely much more to talk about it, but we thought, we should do it in a more, in much more depth. So what I thought is today we will probably give a brief about what all we have been doing since 2012 to 2015, and later on 2015, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 19, 20, just to know how the journey has been from simple 50 children to 500,000 children. So it's an amazing story. We don't want our listeners to do a speed track of this story, and rather enjoy being a part of every incident which comes up in the next series. We intend to do this series, every once in a month. That way we cover various other things. We have wonderful programs like Each One Educate One, wonderful program like Divine Mother and Child Health Program, another excellent program like Guru Vikas program. Then we have, drinking water plants which we have set up, a very uniquely formed IRDP, Integrated Rural Development Program, and not to mention or not to miss out the very important critical part of identifying children who are in need of cardiac operations, and how we have identified such people and put them onto various other hospitals where we have in Raipur, in Mumbai, and in Palwal. But last but not the least, I know all these things would have definitely happened, and it will happen under Divine's will. And the Divine has actually kind of formulated many volunteers who came forward to take up this program. So we will continue having the such sessions, and we will also invite our volunteers to share the success stories, their experiences, their transformation stories, and their challenges as well. This way we all get connected, and the larger audience also comes to know about us in a bigger way. So that's it from my end, and this is a small slide at the last, just in case if you want to know more information about Annapurna. Here is a kind of details to get in touch with. So Girish, I think you can take over from here. Thank you, Girish.
Yeah. So Anand, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful journey and the rich experiences so far. I am getting some messages on WhatsApp. I guess people didn't put it on Facebook. But one of the first questions I got was, I guess people want you to share about how this program has impacted or changed you at a personal level. So, you told your journey of starting from the Dodpale village all the way to this 90 villages in Chikbalapur, and now today 500,000. So, at a personal level, how has this impacted you?
I think at a personal level, it is more of self-transformation, Girish, or to the people, whoever is asked this question. It's not about how many schools you're doing it, how many volunteers, how much support staff. It's not like counting or putting a counter every day morning that how many schools we have targeted and how many schools are we going to approach much more in the coming time. It's about how much transformation which has happened within me. Now, this could be a standard statement anybody can give, but I would say as a practical example, what I meant. So, in the morning, if I have to kind of have my own breakfast, I would ensure that the kind of quality of breakfast grains which we are using and the kind of quality grains which we are supplying for the children, there's definitely, it should be of the same quality or even more higher quality. So that's the kind of mindset you have. Similarly, if I have to buy certain things for my children, I would also think just not our children at home, but also there are about 100 children in another school nearby. Why don't I buy something for them as well? It would be a simple thing like books or pens or whatever, or something like anything you want to buy. You would like to think, okay, let me buy it for myself. But even before thinking that, is it really needed for me to buy? It would really make an impact on a particular child's education or food or health or whatever. Unless you really need it, it's not important for you to buy it. That way you increase the desires. So these are certain practical aspects. When I say self transformation is which happens every time, every minute, every second you think about it. Just think from a other standpoint. How does it help them? And just by doing it, it also transforms you. Your conscious keeps talking to you that yes, you're doing the right thing. And God inside you keeps telling you, yes, you did the right thing, I'm happy for you, continue doing it. And eventually when you go back and talk to the children, and when you see their smiles, and when they know that we are kind of supporting them with this breakfast program, they're so happy, and they come back and tell us, Anna, I want to become like you. when I also get into a job. So that's the whole thing about life. You inspire people to become something which they wouldn't have even anticipated in their life, and make it happen. So that's the summary of what I can tell on what has been the impact till now.
Wonderful. I think what was between the lines is that you've become a role model to so many people, and you didn't know when you set out on this mission because you were just following the instructions from divinity. Okay, so fantastic. Just looking at one more question here. Okay, so there's a question about the future of Annapurna. So where do you see Annapurna in the next few years? And I think a related question to that is, what are the core values of Annapurna that will allow it to expand to scale over to the entire country?
I would say, it's a very tricky question. Where do you stand after some time in Annapurna? I would say we have to just live in the present. Okay, somebody, if they asked me 8 years back, if Sadhguru Madhusudan Sai has told me that after 8 years we will be doing 500,000 children, I wouldn't have believed it during that time. That's the same thing. After 8 years, we don't know what is going to happen. This 500,000 children can become even 5 million children. We don't even know. No, that could be a surprise for all of us. So I think live in the present, take whatever comes to your, take whatever comes as a God's will. But at the same time, also just think about what you can do for the children, because with this good exposure you got, the exposure you have with the engagement with the government bodies, now you understand how to approach them. What are the ways to speak to them? How do we partner with them? What kind of collaborations can help us? So that intelligence definitely should be used wherever it is possible, and that way you be completely detached. You just need to do the work, let it happen. You should not be attached, or somebody else tomorrow comes and says, it's fantastic to know you have done 1 million children or 5 million children. Completely detached. You just need to make the divine flow through you and let the divine operate through you. Whatever has to be done will happen, and it is happening. Somebody asked me, how did this 500,000 children happen? It happened. And tomorrow, if 5 million children happen, it happens. That's how it should be. So let's go with that mindset and continue working on it. And for sure, the moment you are selfless, you have no attachment to this whole concept of the breakfast program, but only you're doing it as a divine will. Naturally, God in you will definitely make this happen. So that's the answer. It could be a different, but this is what I knew, and I thought I should explain over here or express over here.
Thank you, Anand. I'm sure your words have touched each and everyone's hearts here, because I could feel that they've come right from the heart, and the values of selflessness and treating everybody as your own. It's really the guiding principles of Annapurna. So thank you so much, Anand, one more time. We've run out of time here, unfortunately, for others who have their personal, who have probably wanted to ask some more questions. We intended this to be a 45-minute session, and so it's almost just 1 minute away. So, Anand, any last thoughts that you would like to share with the entire audience? If you can address them, a call to action or anything that you have an ask.
No, I don't have any ask as such. It's just that, we got an opportunity to kind of be over here with a larger audience, for whatever situations we are in. We wouldn't have thought of doing this, if we were not in this situation. Now it is given a better, call to action for all of us to get connected online. And that is something which is really kind of interesting. But I feel, Sai Prasad was telling me there's a question which has come from one of the
yes, it's just come. Yeah.
Who says, what is the process to initiate the same program in a village, right? In other rural villages.
In other rural villages, yes.
Yeah. So we made it very simple for all of you. I think this is generally the most frequently asked question, and we know how to get this answered. All you need to do is go to annapurna.org.in. Go to the website. There is a chat box over there. And then you can type in your query. You can say, hey, I would love to have this Annapurna breakfast program conducted in my village. You just pass on your contact number and your email ID. and you will get a quick response from our end. That is the first step which we will definitely do from Annapurna side. Now, the second thing and most important is the conviction which the person who has raised this question is, because when you raise the question, we want you to own the responsibility of being a volunteer in that village. So, we would love having you as a volunteer where you spearhead the entire program and, you coordinate with the village communities and the school and the teacher. Whatever collaterals you need of Annapurna, it's all available in the website. Whatever permission letters you want also, we can get the letters. But the idea is, where is your participation? If your participation is definitely there in this whole scheme of things, then things will fall in place. We want to engage with the people over here. People confuse us telling that Annapurna is going very big and, they definitely need contributions, they need donations, etc. I'm saying, my dear brothers and sisters, that is not the call to action for us. Call to action is never that. The call to action is, here are 500 volunteers who have participated and they've been a part of Annapurna Breakfast program. When will you become the 501 volunteer? That is what is important for us. Or when will you become the 502 volunteer? You just need to get added to the volunteer base and be a part of the program. And then just the moment you start this breakfast program, I tell you, look at the faces of children. They will be extremely happy with the first morsel of breakfast which they have. With your hands or in their plate, whatever is it, they will enjoy. And more than that, you will enjoy it. So the simple shortcut, you want to start a breakfast program, please get us the details of the panchayat head, school details, number of children, what kind of cooks are available over there, is there a cooking infrastructure available? If the cooking infrastructure is not there, we can definitely start with banana or a biscuit or a simple milk, whatever is it, we can definitely make a start. As I told you earlier, we just started like this. Simple chocolates were also given to children, and we call it as a morning nutrition program, which is good enough to make a first step towards making it an actual full-fledged breakfast program. And I think I've answered the query of the person who has put it. But if you want us, please reach out to us separately on this. We can address your query separately also.
Fantastic, Anand. Thank you so much for answering all these questions and sparing some time to join us today. Since we are out of time, unfortunately, I know we would like to have a longer session, but we need to end the session today. And before we end, I would request very humbly all our viewers to kindly share your experience and feedback so that we can apply your feedback and improve ourselves. We also hope that you will join us again for the next webinar that will happen soon. Until then, the Annapurna team wishes you all the best and hopes you and your family stay safe and healthy in these difficult times. Thank you so much. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you. Sai Ram.